have accessed the subspace transponder signature of the Essex. It is identical to the signal coming from the moon's surface.
We arrived a little late.
2 in a row.
Oh, yeah. Since she was just here, I didn't even have a reaction. Just carrying over from the last one.
Advise Starfleet, we have solved the mystery of Captain Schumann and the Essex.
I'm not sure we have.
What did you say?
Someone's down there.
I mean, they could have had kids or something. Survived.
Could be David. What?
He wasn't actually dead.
First officer's log, supplemental. The electromagnetic interference on the
Sounds
surface.
like a game show thing. Woo! I'm gonna use my power play.
Oh, he's back!
Nice. I like that shot, too, of the shuttlecraft.
Yeah. Oh, look at this.
Shields are holding, sir.
Wind shear is incredible.
Lectors out there just shaking it.
They have it on a thing, like at a fair. It's like a fair ride.
The shuttlecraft's impulse generators have shut down.
Commander, can you hear me?
Oh, is this gonna be these three down here?
Initiating emergency landing procedures.
Maintain the approach attitude, Data.
And I'm sure they gave a reason why they couldn't beam down. With the weather or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Brace for impact.
Oh! Oh, okay.
Who's directing this? Making us wait.
Oh!
No!
Oh,
Oh, okay. I don't think we've ever had a reaction for this guy ever.
Take an inventory of the shuttle. See if there's anything left in there that's usable. The ground cover is all non-porous rock, which makes me believe it's even less likely there's anyone living here.
Enterprise? What are you doing on this planet?
Can't get a pattern lock on their communicators because of the EM bursts, Captain. There's no way we can beam them out of there, not under these conditions.
woo! Back of his head.
Chief, there's no guarantee you won't rematerialize in a million pieces if your signal gets caught up in that electromagnetic whirlwind.
I can boost the confinement beam.
Taking a risk.
Nice of you to join us.
Nice spot for a picnic, sir. I'm supposed to be feeding the baby lunch. Molly gets in a terribly foul mood when late.
Aww.
Lunchtime, Miles! Let's do it!
Oh, no. Oh, not right.
Oh, they didn't want you right there.
His arm's broken. Forget him.
I think this one's kind of gross. We don't want this one. And of course, he didn't see that happen to them.
Yeah.
Commander Riker took the worst of it with a broken arm.
Good work, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
Ready for duty, sir. You sure, number one?
I think they know who they are.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they're all possessed.
So how do you suggest we proceed?
We need to adjust the scanner so they can penetrate those storms. Do you have any ideas, Data?
Brent Spiner is so good that you can just tell it's not Data right away before he even said anything.
A systematic survey of the moon from a polar orbit might be more practical.
Well, you may be right, but I'd like to give the crash site a once-over first.
He's so good.
What were they trying to communicate?
I'm not sure. But they were calling me to the southern polar region.
She's better at it. Whatever's possessing Troy is better than the Data one.
Mm-hmm. The helm isn't responding.
Do you know anything about this, Mr. Data? Data?
Oh!
Security to the bridge!
I'm right here, sir.
Oh, shit!
There you go.
Oh, damn it, Worf.
Don't gotta worry about them figuring out the whole episode.
Thank God. Thank God. I was getting worried. Like, not 2 in a row, guys.
Oh! Oh! Ah!
This way.
What happened?
He would not move to a polar orbit.
You couldn't wait?
Score.
All right, David.
Initiate emergency bulkheads in turbo shaft 4. Aye, sir. They have been stopped at deck 13.
Credit for Worf for taking that bump and climbing all the way back up there.
Ooh. But you're not tracking our ass.
If only there were cameras. Oh, this is great.
Reverse tracking shot.
My entity's artificial substructure may be useful.
My entities. Oh! Oh, is that Molly? That's
Oh, no.
not your father, Molly.
floor. Miles.
On the floor!
I mean, I understand he's possessed, but she's literally holding an infant. How would you expect her to...
Now!
Oh! Think again.
You're a security officer, huh?
Security geek.
Oh, yeah!
There you go. She set the phaser to bump.
Oh, damn it.
Mr. Wolf, acknowledge. Can you hear me, Mr. Wolf?
Yes, Bridge. He can hear you.
Cold. That was like one of my favorite sequences of the whole series. That was awesome.
A concussive charge would blow out the security fields. We can go in with the phasers on a wide beam, stun everybody, sort it out later.
Stun the baby?
What would happen if you stunned a baby?
Under normal circumstances, I would be counseling the captain at a time like this.
And what would you tell him to do?
I would help him find a way to secure our trust.
So they have
What are you looking at?
abilities.
Oh, no.
No, come on, Worf. You know you can't take him.
You, Klingon. Attack me.
Oh, this one's got an ego, huh?
I have no fear of death.
And I have no fear of killing you.
Stop it!
You were not the only one with ice in his veins.
They know we'd love to see it, these two. So they tease it.
You will move the ship.
Move it where?
You will change orbit to an inclination of 80 degrees south.
Go to the south, man.
You have 30 seconds to change your heading, or additional members of your crew will require medical attention.
Oh, man. Imagine Troy as a villain. Well, this is it.
Yeah, what happened? It's right there.
But imagine it was like a full-on.
Yeah.
They're exactly the same, except in Data, Troy, and O'Brien, there's an unusual synaptic activity, some kind of anionic energy.
It's got to be like the spirits of those people, because Data knew he was a Klingon.
If your theory is accurate, Doctor, what would happen if we were to inflict pain on the others?
It might force whatever it is out of our people.
You can't inflict pain on Data.
It would be painful, but it wouldn't cause any physical harm.
Does he have pain receptors?
What about Data?
Well, the plasma shock will definitely overload his neural net. It'll work on him, too.
Close enough.
4 others have secondary burns. They require medical attention. And our captors are not affected by a phaser stun.
Silence, Klingon!
If LaForge and Rowe can attempt a rescue, in short order, then let them proceed. If they can't, I will provide you with another opportunity. Watch for it.
Worf, fire! He's not even in the bridge. It's the only command he knows what to do.
We can't leave Riker in command anymore.
She's frightened. Why don't you just let us go?
No. Make it stop.
I thought maybe he was going to start the change, show a little humanity. And like he's the one to make it stop. I mean, just a little bit, maybe.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Captain Bryce Schumar of the Federation starship Essex.
Yep.
Oh!
Yeah, it must be like they died and it's like the planet kept their energy or something.
And you have survived all this time as...
Spirits, ghosts, but you're a man who would never believe in ghosts, Picard, isn't that true?
Ooh.
Our consciousness has been trapped on this moon for 2 centuries. We must escape this torture.
How did this happen to you?
Look at Data's resting face.
Just pissed off.
All you need to know for now is that we want to rest. Simply, finally, to rest.
Damn, dude. Ghosts, man.
Never would have thought.
I also still love the lore of, Picard, you wouldn't believe in ghosts. No, I just encounter crazy shit every week. But ghosts? Hell no.
I never want to see this part of the Enterprise again.
I hear you. This is what starship designers call easy access. Let's hook up the scanner and see what we've got.
Got it.
Oh, that's cool.
If it is the spirit of Captain Schumar,
Then he should be behaving very much better, don't you think? Starfleet Captain.
You two sit down.
I mean, that's true, but I mean, if they've been stuck as ghosts for 100 whatever
for
years.
170, yeah.
perhaps they've gone mad.
I assure you, Mr. Worf, these are not Jack Lynn.
Oh, damn, assures him.
And then to determine learn how to do
That's enough.
All right, that's
Stop, both of you. You over there, you there.
Come on, Chief, break through.
Leave her alone.
That is disturbing.
Who shall it be? Huh? How about the Klingon? Get another one.
No wonder who he's gonna go for.
Come on.
Pick one to die, Captain. Or I kill them both.
There's Star Trek 3 for you. Oh, there you
They're all
go.
in range.
Kill shot.
I'm only going to be able to shut down the force field for about 7 seconds before the computer compensates.
Just do it.
Kill the force field.
Force field down.
Firing plasma charge.
Oh, damn it! It took too long with your damn explanation. I still don't think it would have affected Data anyway.
Tell them to stop or I kill everyone in this room, starting with you.
Dude. That Data should have choke slammed into one of those tables. Now they're pissed.
Are you ready to cooperate?
Yes!
Ensign Rowe, Mr. LaForge, please, less exposition next time before we execute the plan. The audience will understand.
How do you think they did that with him lifting him like that by the neck?
A couple stage hands, just lift up his legs out.
A yonder camera?
Yeah.
Without the protection of the force fields, we are completely vulnerable.
They could use the transporter against us. Once the force field is down, they could beam us back to the surface.
Well, you're also in the bodies of our friends here, so.
Yeah.
Number one, I think we have an opportunity to end this siege. It will require the cooperation of all concerned.
Remember you said watch for it.
I want you to ensure them of safe passage between 10 forward and the cargo bay.
Understood, Captain.
Gonna line him up. A kill shot.
We will each take a hostage for protection.
Klingon.
Picard, you are mine.
We'll take the named characters.
There's only one reason he chose Cargo Bay 4. If it becomes necessary, Ensign, he'll blow the cargo bay hatch on my orders.
Oh.
You really think that using their identities would gain our sympathy?
It was a better approach than asking you to allow hundreds of condemned prisoners on board.
Oh.
But now we have your ship and your bodies to carry us home.
That's why they're all jerks.
Yeah.
I would die to save the life of my child.
To die defending one ship is the hope of every Klingon.
Yeah, he's excited.
And you know they're equally ready to give their lives for this ship. Free them now. And I will return you to the moon's surface.
To try again in another 100 years.
I advise you, Picard, not to pass our way again.
Bro, they're like the NWO.
It was as though my own consciousness were pushed to the side. I was watching everything happen.
Data still looks angry.
I must apologize for my inadvertent misconduct toward you.
No apology necessary.
Your restraint was most remarkable.
You have no idea.
I'm just glad to have you back.
If I could have killed that thing inside me, I would have.
I know.
We both know.
Oh, Alex is your favorite character.
Well, it's being silent.
The baby's first words, she said, end on the scene. But it didn't.
But it didn't. Now, if it was an actual relationship, Keiko would still hold animosity towards Chief O'Brien. Even though you had no control.
3, 2, 1.
B for shut up that baby.
Oh, I put B as well.
Finally.
I
Good
did
Lord.
not see us having the same one on that one for sure. I won't lie though. There were times at this one where I was like, "Damn, this might be an S." There were times where I was at A, but eventually there's some problems I had with it. But it was still a banger.
So today's episode is called Power Play, and when I was at work today, I tried to pull a power play move myself to get a raise, and it didn't work. And this episode kind of worked.
I thought the episode worked. I just thought it definitely could have worked a lot more.
Yeah, it could have worked a lot better, for sure. There are elements I love. I love the idea of having our villains being played by our main characters, and giving them more to do, especially Marina Sirtis, instead of the common trope that's going on of Troy must suffer. Now it's Troy must,
inflict suffering.
Inflict suffering, yes. And I thought that was a very interesting way to do it. And such an odd crew, too. Data, Troy, and the Chief. Chief makes sense because they had Rosalind Chow back, and they had that damn baby. And the peak of this episode, I would have to say, is definitely the fight scene in 10 Forward. And also, we had a wonderful moment in the reaction where I had that fear of, oh no, we know who the 3 villains are, but we're not going to, the crew's not going to know until the very end. And note, they nipped that in the butt right away. They revealed who they were quite quick, and all the other stuff could happen and actually tell a story of ups and downs that may be invested in care and not just, all right, someone's going to figure out eventually, oh, they figured it out, it's over. So it was not that. So
yeah, I was already getting my rewrites ready while watching the show when they all get knocked down onto the planet, and then we see the little orbs come and go into their bodies, and then they come back onto the ship, and I'm instantly thinking, oh, no one's going to know this whole episode, and imagine how good it would have been if we also didn't know because they just didn't put in that special effect of the orbs going into their bodies. But then they figure out right away. But you know what? I'm still sticking with that, because imagine if they didn't show us that, and then right when they get back to the ship, all of a sudden they start fighting everybody. We'd be like, oh, something happened down on the planet. But, 90s TV, everyone has to know immediately.
yeah. Do you remember the tension we felt in Brothers when Data started acting weird and took over the whole ship? Or the tension we felt in Clues when Data was just acting strange and not answering any questions? Remember that primal fear or just that question inside of us of what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
I love that feeling.
Yeah.
It feels great. And I agree, if we didn't see those orbs.
But what I thought the episode did well with that is they do the reveal right away of them switching on the crew, but then for the bulk of the episode, we still don't know why. They give us the reason of they're this crew that got trapped down there, but Picard doubts them, and there's kind of this seed of doubt throughout the whole time of that's probably not what's really going on. We don't know, though. They could be telling the truth, but we're not sure until it's revealed at the end. Now, my biggest flaw of the episode is probably the reveal at the end and how they go about it. We'll get there.
Here's my plan, Picard.
But, yeah, really enjoyed just the whole sequence from when they initially turn on the crew on the bridge, from that leading into the capture of 10 Forward. One of my favorite sequences of the series thus far, and it's one of those moments where I don't care what happens the rest of this episode, this is automatically at a certain, this is a banger no matter what. That's how strong the sequence was. I wish it could have maintained that the whole episode. I just felt like once they got to 10 Forward, it just really kind of slowed down, and it was almost like they didn't know what to do with the episode. Once they got to 10 Forward, it was a lot of repeating stuff, a lot of back and forth that doesn't lead anywhere. We got some good moments we'll talk about, but overall, that was the strongest point of the episode, was that whole sequence, and then the rest was just kind of...
Yeah, I think we even mentioned that once they got to 10 Forward, we talked about how this is only 45 minutes, and if you feel like you're dragging in a 45-minute episode, and that, when after the fight scene in the bar, it's like, that's not good.
Yeah.
There's other things we could have done here, especially with Ensign Rowe and... who was it, Geordi? Geordi up there with their thing. Oh, they got to be in the circle. And she's explaining, okay, they got to be in the circle at this time or else it's not going to work. And she's explaining it, and, they're in the circle. While she's fire the fucking...
And it's like, let's go. She's like, Geordi, they have to get the clearance to take the shot and everything. I really liked that sequence as well, honestly. That was probably my other favorite one, was just that whole idea of gathering them into this circle to take a kill shot. Scientifically, it doesn't make sense. Don't know, don't care. But I did really like it. And I even bought into the fact of Data being able to be taken over as well as Troy and Chief, because so many times in the show, they kind of, yes, it's convenient, but it's kind of like, oh, well, yes, he's an android, but really it's very similar to a human like this. And it's like, okay, I'll let the show have that because it's giving me something cool. Like, we get to see Brent Spiner act as this entity ghost, so I'm okay with allowing the logic not to really add up. We're talking about a ghost story at the end of the day, so whatever. Now, it turns out not to be actual ghosts, but prisoners locked down on this planet, and just seeing these 3 characters act, as kind of like, essentially evil, no good characters, really no redemption for them at all. Just seeing the evilness in Chief's eyes when he's going up to Molly and Keiko, and just looking over him, I'm like, whoa, dude, he did a great job really putting on that face.
Yeah, that was I don't know if it's an issue with the episode I had, or just I wanted the stronger moment from Chief there, where he almost started to break through because of the love of his family. Like Kirk, with the love of his ship, is able to, defeat the remember the plants that would spray in people's faces? It's like, well, how did Kirk survive that? Oh, the love of his ship. Now, if Chief was able to break out of being controlled by this entity because of the love of his family, would have been a bit ridiculous, maybe, but it felt very uncomfortable and also odd. Where he's like, I remember you. I remember buying you that, and maybe Chief breaks out, and that's the start of them getting all three of them in the thing, whatever, instead of the evil plan at the end. But then he just gets really uncomfortable and rapey. I'm like, oh, ew. Or like, oh, yeah, come here. It's like, oh, Chiefs could break through. What a great character. It's like it all felt very odd.
I find something though terrifying in the idea of someone's your loved one and something happens to them to where they can't break through. So like one of the best examples is like a zombie movie or show where like someone has a loved one and they're turned into a zombie, and like the love that person had for them doesn't matter. That zombie's gonna fucking eat you anyway. And it's kind of like the same thing where there's almost a terrifying element to when Chief's looking at them, and he's looking at the baby and he's like, I know you. But it's like, yes, if he had broke through with like the power of love in that moment, like that's a really nice moment. But the fact that clearly, no, they stand no chance. Chief's not even, he's in there, but he has no control. Like, that almost makes it scarier, because it's like, wow, they really, there's nothing they can do. So I think it goes both ways. It's kind of like the way they did it was fine, and if they had done the power of love thing, that also would have been good. It obviously depends on how each are executed, but I think that's what really sold the terror to me. Like, even his own crying baby, Chief can't even like break through. He's just, he's just looking at him all creepy. I was like, it makes you uncomfortable. It almost makes you sick. Like, oh.
Yeah, it did make me uncomfortable, especially with the three characters that they chose for this are now three of the most likable characters ever: Chief, Data, and Troy. And
got to give it up for Brent. Brent Spiner yet again just gives a different role and just knocks it out of the park. And I said, you knew instantly, like, regardless of seeing the special effect, when they come on board, he's so good at playing Data that when he's not playing Data, you can tell it right away. And
when he's playing a guy trying to be Data.
Yeah, and it's like, it makes you realize, because you kind of take for granted when he's Data in all these episodes, how non-human he's acting, even when he's just standing there, or not really part of the scene. He has to be on at all times as Data, because if he becomes too human, he looks how he looked in this episode before they make the turn, where you can just tell, like, that's not Data. Mm-hmm. And so, again, just massive credit to him. He's my favorite actor, I think, in this show, Brent Spiner. So,
one of the funniest scenes too, when Worf and whoever's talking, and you just see Brent in the background, and then he's just like, "All right, done, it's over."
Yeah, enough of that.
Yeah, I know you're talking. Enough.
Because we brought up the Star Trek whisper, right? Like so many times, like, oh, no one heard that, but it's like, even though he didn't necessarily hear exactly what they were saying, at least he had enough awareness to be like, okay, nope, stop.
Yeah. How do you feel about similar to the Ardra episode, Picard just not buying it whatsoever? Like, yeah, I don't believe it's these three people.
I swear there was a previous episode where the topic of like ghosts or spirits came up, and Picard also was like, no, I don't believe in that. And I, again, just find it so odd when you're on this journey in space, you come across basically God-type creatures, aliens that have all these weird powers, and he has no problem accepting whatever creature they come across. But then as soon as you put out the idea of like a supernatural ghost or entity, he immediately kind of doesn't believe it. It is kind of odd. Like, what's the difference? Like, what's the difference between a super strong alien creature and there being a spirit or a ghost? It's a bit odd.
Yeah, I would consider it very similar to the whole Data being a life form type argument. Data's a life form that not like a living being, but he's his own living being. So why can't ghosts or whatever exist as well as opposed to these aliens or whatever? I don't think it's that far off, especially in this universe and the things we've seen. But and I think he's 2 for 2 with his beliefs. He didn't believe Ardra was the god, and he didn't believe that these people were those ghosts of people of the Essex. But also these prisoners, they weren't spirits. Was that their actual form? I can't.
The best I can try to think is either that's their normal form, or when they get sent to this prison, this is what happens to them. They get turned into this. Maybe I missed something, but it's one of those two things. Yeah. I don't know which it is.
Yeah, I think it's that.
Like the bodies they had are dead, and they're just turned into these things on this planet. But I don't know. But the last thing on the Picard thing, My only guess is that maybe when you come across all these different type of creatures and all these, beings, you take a little bit of comfort in knowing that regardless of the creature you come across, they all have to face death at some point. Like, they have not come across a truly immortal being, and I guess Q would be like the closest thing to it. But
and even then, Picard's like, I don't fucking buy you.
yeah, and maybe the idea of a creature like a ghost or spirit that doesn't have to face death is just like that bridge too far where, like, okay, well, if that exists, then, anything's on the table as to where, as long as he's like, I'll accept whatever alien creature we come across, but at the end of the day, we all have to deal with death. That's like kind of the great equalizer among all creatures. So maybe that's why he draws that line. I find it very interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad he brought up Q and his, disdain for Q. And he's able to, well, Q's able to show what he can do, absolutely. But with these other things, he's like, I don't buy it. But with Q, maybe because Q has shown so much where it's like, okay, it's hard for me to deny. But Q has shown very much similar to what Ardra has shown in her abilities, but they had the time to figure that out. I guess they had enough time with Q where we're like, okay, he's legit. But maybe that's why he hates Q, where it's like, damn, these things do exist out there, these beings that, torment and aren't serious with life and all that.
And maybe also because Q comes at it from a more honest perspective. Like, he doesn't show up and go like, I'm God, or like show up and go like, I'm Satan.
Yeah.
It's like he's kind of open about what they are, even though a lot of it is still unexplained. Like, whenever he does an illusion or like does something, it's very clear that he's doing that. So
he's honest at first too.
Yeah, so maybe that's why he accepts it more. I think it's literally just something about like the actual death of it. But can Q die? That I don't even know. Because there's been obviously episodes where he's stripped of his powers and then he could die in theory, but I don't know if the Q continuum or whatever, I don't know. It's still too unexplained. Maybe we'll get into it more as the franchise goes on.
I don't know. Anyway, the ending, we find out that they reveal their evil plan in a very, now that you're about to release us, we're not the crew of the Essex.
Yeah.
We're actually these prisoners. And then they're able to, I forget, Worf is able to, like, we can actually just beam you down. They trap him in that Revenge of the Sith ray shields. It's like, we can beam him out to space, or whatever they said they're going to do. It's like, okay, fine, just beam us back down to the planet, and that's it.
Yeah, that really is what, more than anything, brought it down for me. Like, I was still like, wow, this episode's really good, even though it started to drag and they didn't really know what to do with it. But then that whole ending, just the most clear example of, now I will tell you my evil plan. I am from Uxmox, or whatever. It's like, and they're going to be foiled. Like, so it's like, you're just literally sitting here listening to their evil plan until, they get foiled. It's like the most classic trope in the book, I feel like. It's disappointing when writers can't, come up with a way to get around certain tropes like that, because they know what they're doing. Like, I refuse to believe by the 90s when you're writing a TV episode, you don't know you're doing the classic, villain explains their plan trope that's already by that point in the 90s mocked in other media. So it's like, you know what you're doing, you really can't. I know they had 2 weeks, but it's like, the writer must be pissed, like, damn, I guess we got to do this trope.
Yeah, well, the teleplay was by 3 different people here, and let's see. One of them was Brandon Braga, who had contributed to the game. So
yeah, I think
other episodes as well. But
I think Brandon Braga is one of those ones that's going to be around for a long time. Don't know, that's what I'm guessing. But
yeah, story by Paul Rubin and Maurice Hurley, and one of the episodes that Maurice worked on was Data Lore. So, yay.
Yeah, but I think with these kind of episodes, it's one of those writer room type things where when we get an episode that just says, written by Ronald Moore or written by somebody, then it's like, I'm willing to give the blame or credit to that person. But anytime it's one of those walls, it's like, I don't know who to blame, I don't know who to give credit to.
Yeah, it's just more than, there are definitely situations where more than one cook in the kitchen can help, but oftentimes in these shows, it's not the case. Just, if anything, just teleplay by, story by, directed by. That, unless it's a weird situation, like you're the Daniels brothers or the Coen brothers or that, your tag team writers, directors. Just leave it up to one guy.
That brings up an interesting point. Outside of Ronald Moore, I don't know if there's been a whole ton of written writer and director episodes in any of Star Trek.
Like written by the same person?
Yeah,
Directed by the
I
same
think
person?
that, I mean, they do happen occasionally, but I think Ronald Moore's the only one I can think of where I know for sure he's done some in TNG, but I'm trying to think back to TOS or even in TNG, like, I don't think Cliff Bowles written anything, or I don't think Rick Colby's written anything, so it's a very interesting choice. Nothing bad or good about it, but...
Being a director is like so strange. I don't know. You come on and you're just reading out someone else's words. It must be weird. It's like,
Yeah.
okay. And like, do they I'm assuming they consult with the writer, like, hey, what did he mean by this? Just in case there's something in there they aren't clear on. I mean, I'm sure there's a whole team. I always found that interesting when they bring on a director for someone else's words. It's like the director could take that script and maybe not be on the same page with the writer. And the writer could be like, that's not what I meant by that.
Yeah, I watched one of those roundtables once, where they get like a bunch of actors, a bunch of people, and it was for all the people who are nominated for like best screenplay one of the years at the Oscars, and there was only one person there at the table who didn't direct the movie also. Like the rest of them all wrote and directed the movie. So they asked him, like, you're the only one that wrote your movie and didn't direct it, like, what do you think about that, and does that scare you, or, and he kind of, it was an older guy, but he kind of was just like, yeah, I mean, I wrote the story, if the director like fucks it up, that's not my problem. He's like, I mean, it is what it is. And it's like, yeah, it is very interesting to think, like, so many people, or the other way around too, like, if you're trying to direct a movie and you're doing a really good job, but the writing's just not that strong, it's like, it's interesting.
Yeah, so you have to make up for it with your, direction, visuals, and all that, and
the only time you can blame or give credit is when it's the triple threat. Directed, written, and starring. The same guy.
And starring?
Yeah, then you can rip it apart.
David Livingston, he directed The Mind's Eye, the Geordi episode, taken over by the Romulans, and this one, and that's it. But he's been like a big producer for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm always interested by that.
Just these 2 episodes. I'm like, I just wanted to direct a couple.
And they're both directed well. I mean, the direction is good. It's not anything crazy.
Is there anything, noteworthy in this?
I mean, just the whole sequence.
The fight scene.
Yeah, the fight scene sequence, and there's like a reverse tracking shot when they're walking down the hallway.
Oh, yes.
All right, well, they gave this B tier, 41%, so they're right in line with both of us. It's 34%, though, A tier, and even 7% S. So 17% C, 2% D. Looks like they liked it overall. I'm going to read this one from Short Skirts and Explosions. A tier. God damn, this episode slaps. It's so intense and dramatic and nail-biting all throughout. Each of the key characters have great thematic parts to play with nice multiple parallels. By that I mean Troy Picard, Data Worf, and Miles Keiko. Somehow the climactic moment and the possibility of self-sacrifice encapsulates the self-righteousness of Starfleet and the Enterprise's crew evident in Season 1 without coming across as hammy. We didn't really talk about how they were all willing to sacrifice themselves there at the end.
Oh, yeah.
That was nice. He's like, you're in Troy's body. You know that she would sacrifice herself for this, and so would we. That was good. And then they say, on top of all that, we get Troy acting and sounding badass the entire time. Perhaps the twist of the plot isn't all that snazzy, but the way in which the antagonist of the week is foiled remains fantastic. Great installment all around. Definitely higher than either of us, but I can agree with a lot of that.
Yeah, definitely with the scene with them willing to sacrifice themselves. That was great. All right, this one's from Nathan Walker. Never before has there been a feeling of such high stakes and epicness by simply walking down a hallway after leaving 10 forward. They are walking! The score has no business going this hard. I remember it to this day.
The score, I can't remember if I noticed it or not.
Neither can I. Yeah, it's
been a few days. It's been a week since we watched it.
That's my biggest flaw, remembering the score.
I've seen a couple of people, John M. and Sixto, compare this to a TOS episode or say that it feels like a TOS episode. What do you think about that?
TOS episode in the sense of stretching for time, sure.
I think in the sense of like just the overall premise of it, or, yeah, I mean, I guess just the premise of it is like something that would fit well in TOS. I mean, I can agree with that. I'm trying to think back, did we get any possession type stories in TOS? I'm sure I'm forgetting. I mean, there's the Scotty episode with the
Wolf in the Fold.
Yeah, Wolf in the Fold with Jack the Ripper ghost.
Yeah, it's something crazy like that, how Jack the Ripper's bouncing from body to body over the years.
There's definitely been some episodes where our characters have been possessed for one reason or another. I think in Cat's Paw, we get to see like Spock and Bones have a fight because one of them is possessed. I can't remember the exact who was, but yeah, that's definitely, I could see this as a TOS episode. TOS, definitely dove more into the creepy or Twilight Zone-esque stuff a lot of the time. So
definitely supernatural for sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I can see that.
Well, here's one from Thomas Cole. Crap, I really remember the season being better. Maybe there's too much rose-tinted glasses. Like Rosalind Chow tinted glasses?
She's been great.
She's been wonderful.
Yeah, I think it's a mix of a lot of people have come out and said that the second half of the season has some really great episodes, but also I have seen a number of people echo that and not realizing how many they didn't care for, which is, that's always interesting when that happens. That's, interesting. This is from the Ninth Doctor. Chief Unleashed. Solid A for that alone, even before we get to Pissed Off AI and Counselor Terrorist.
Counselor Terrorist. How about, really quick, how about Worf and Data teasing that fight?
Yeah.
I mean, we know who would win, but still.
Data, you think?
I mean, yeah, unless Worf uses some sort of technique, but Data, I've learned all forms of Klingon and blah, 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 and, and all these different types of fighting forms.
But I guess it would, in this specific scenario, would that guy, the prisoner that's possessing him, have the knowledge? I know he's in his body, but would he know how to execute all that? It'd be interesting.
Oh. Yeah, that. I'm just talking about in the future.
Just straight up Data.
Yeah, straight up Data. I'm hoping maybe it'll be similar to a Kirk beating Spock in chess type thing. I think Kirk's a little more even well-rounded than Worf is, as opposed to, it's not the exact same comparison.
Yeah.
It'd be more like Riker versus Data or Picard versus Data in chess, but still, I'd love to see it. They'd make it work. Tell a good story.
Season 5 we persevere. Josh and Alex chart the skies, warping forward as chaos flies. Riker's grin, a battle cry. Crusher's brilliance lights the sky. Data's mind a beacon bright. TNG blows with endless spike. Shields up high, we're breaking through. Phasers charge, our aim is true. Floodlight twist, the fire ignites. Boldly onward into the night. Warp factor, chaos engine scream. A voyage built on starlit dreams. The fire and flame, the cosmos bends. The Enterprise flies, the journey ascends. Warp factor, chaos hearts collide. With every laugh, the stars align. Boldly they go, no end in sight. Season 5 takes flight. Anthe's fall to scorching critique. Virtue speech has reached their peak. Holodeck worlds in turmoil turn. Lessons taught and bridges burned. Finder's gift, the master's hand. The God's command, the voice that stands. Through the madness, one truth remains. TNG courses through our veins. Warping fast, the time is near. Stories clash as chaos spheres. Engines roar, the stars ignite. Boundless journeys, endless fight. Warp factor, chaos engines scream. A voyage built on starlit dreams. The fire and flame, the cosmos bends. The Enterprise flies, the journey ascends. Warp factor, chaos hearts collide. With every laugh, the stars align. Boldly they go, no end in sight. Season 5 takes flight. A voyage built on starlit dreams.